now reached the end of October and the garden is just a week or two away from reaching its full spring potential. No matter which angle I look at the rear garden, it's now taking on its full spring potential, with the valerian carpet of flowers standing waist height, with the iris flowers contrasting around the edges of the garden, and the roses beginning to open. The seaside daisies and the forget-me-nots are filling in the gaps, and even the salvias are starting to bring flowers to the lower garden. I love looking at this view. The full fairy garden experience is now there for the kids to come and play in and just hang out in the garden. The front garden is now full of roses, daisies, poppies, more irises. It's such a glorious mix of colours. The driveway is still a work site, so we have pots that are still scattered around. However, Kate and I have been busy potting up the colours to bring enjoyment to the entryway. There is full of gerberas, ranunculus, all sorts of other little flowering plants, petunias in amongst the pots, just so that in the coming weeks we're going to have a lovely mix of colours. We have these double-headed gerberas, no idea how that formed, but they're beautiful. The roses are starting to open. We have such a range of roses in the garden. I think my mother there was over 100 roses when I took over the garden from Mum. We now have around 110 to 120 roses. I'm not exactly quite sure, I'll have to do another count. But there's a whole range of roses in the garden here. We have the climbing roses, we have floribundas, miniatures, hybrid teas, bush roses. A lot of them I don't have names for. The ones I do I have included on the screen. We did lose a lot of roses underneath the growth of the honeysuckle. So that's the area of the garden that I'm concentrating, trying to get roses back into at the moment. Black spot has been an issue, particularly in parts of the garden. Hopefully we can get this under control this year. It has spread from right through the garden. I'm worried it's going to spread to the neighbours, but we are working on it. Parts of the garden look very healthy, so we've only got small enclaves now of black spot that we need to try and eradicate. Some of the roses have grown so big. Like this red one has come up on either side of the fence between us and the neighbours. I think they really quite like it, to be able to look out their window at it. And the aphids, well, they're pretty much under control now. We only have small little groups of them that appear. And then the lady beetles make a quick meal of them. Down the side of the house, Mum created a small little sheltered garden which takes in all sorts of frost prone plants, a bit like this rhododendron. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, likes to face the neighbours rather than us. And these are lilies. I call them funeral lilies. I'm not exactly quite sure what they are. Then we have the irises, like this deep purple that's just arrived. No black iris this year. So far, I'm pretty sure that we've reached the end of the new buds forming on the irises. We have these beautiful pinks. I couldn't believe that we've ended up with about a dozen of them that have arrived. And as the purples, Dutch irises have finished, we've now got these white Dutch irises that have arrived in the back garden. I don't think they flowered last year. I really wasn't quite sure what this group of irises were going to turn out to be. And they're full of white, beautiful irises. And just for some controversy, we have these onionweed flowers. They have a beautiful aroma. They have such a bad reputation, these flowers, but they grow in a pot and I will have to trim them before they go to seed. So this is our garden at the end of October. I hope you're enjoying seeing these as much as we're enjoying living in this. Please like and subscribe, and you can stay in touch with our garden for the next